Hey everybody, it's Aluna Michaels, Esoteric Astrologer, coming at you to talk about the events of February, astrological events, um, of February 2020. So, start off with Mercury retrograde again, right? Remember, don't be afraid of Mercury retrograde. Mercury will turn retrograde on February 17 and stay retrograde, and it goes retrograde at 12 degrees of Pisces, in case you like that sort of thing. And it goes back into Aquarius, 28 degrees of Aquarius, just a little bit, and goes direct on March 9th. And then it will go back into Pisces and move forward. We went into the window, some people like to think of that, February 2nd, which means we're in the period of time now, as I do this on the 4th, where Mercury is going to go backwards over, if that makes sense. This is what it's going to do, and then it's going to go boop, and then it goes forward. So we're already in kind of a creative thinking time, and that can be good. Just timeliness here about this coronavirus stuff. I was thinking that because Mercury is the way people think, and Pisces, it's going to retrograde in Pisces and go back into Aquarius, but Pisces doesn't think clearly sometimes, and so there can be panic thinking or drawing big conclusions that aren't true, and just watching out for your fear level and being able to stay with facts, as much facts as you can about things. And this is just in general with Mercury retrograding in Pisces. And also with, Mercury is communication, and Pisces is kind of like making things up, if it's going backwards, like the difficult side of Pisces. And watching out that you don't extrapolate from stories, stories from somebody says something and you make up this big thing about what it's about, and it wasn't that at all. You find out later when Mercury goes direct, the person didn't mean that, and you created this whole kind of weird reality around it. So really watching for that is really important, and understanding people might be doing that to you. If people act funny, like what's kind of like creative story they're telling themselves, and to be able to say, hey, what did you think about what I said, or what did you make that mean? That kind of a thing. Sorry, I've got company here if Kitty walked in. But the good thing always about Mercury retrogrades are you get to go inside yourself and think about your own inner communication with yourself. Pisces is so much about forgiveness. So thinking about just starting with yourself, mean names you're calling yourself, having overly high expectations about things, readjusting expectations so you can meet your goals, and be more gentle, so that you have more enthusiasm to go up to the next level rather than shooting too high and then like, ugh, I can't do anything. It's like, hey, good job. Hey, good job. Hey, good job. Then step by step you go, as opposed to trying really hard and then crashing. So the Mercury retrograde is good for that self-forgiveness stuff. It's just a good time in general for meditation, because Pisces is that sign of meditation. So if you do meditate or you want to start meditating, that's really great. Even dreams, a lot of answers can come through dreams with this. But of course, back to forgiveness, about long-term issues in your life can be forgiven, especially being able to see a pattern where you feel victimized by a certain sort of, like a type of person, or a sort of pattern happens over again. You always, stub your toe when you walk out the door, or people with blonde hair are mean to you or something. It's like, I always get fired on a Monday. It's like, what's my story I'm repeating? And to forgive those experiences around it, and maybe get some sort of message about it, or understand, like say somebody who had blonde hair was mean to you in first grade, and every time you see someone with blonde hair, you're kind of make a face at them, and then that person's like, whoa, you're not like me. Like, look, she doesn't like me. So like, what could I be doing because of my fear from the past, because of my self-judgment when I get into a situation, and I freeze up, or I act a certain way that's not like flowing with the experience, and it's kind of gummed up, and so not like you're picking on yourself about it, but seeing what are the similarities, and how could you be acting from a place of fear or anxiety that is somehow contributing to a repeat situation. That's something you look at too, and of course forgive people who've been flat out terrible to you, and working on that while still maintaining healthy boundaries and limits. But that Mercury retrograde in Pisces is about kind of taking this burden off your mind, taking the burden out of your heart, so you can think more clearly, have the space to dream and hope and love. Again, always with healthy boundaries, right? Because Pisces needs boundaries. Interestingly, when we have the new moon in Pisces, So the sun moves from Aquarius to Pisces. On the 24th of February, we have the sun, the moon, and that retrograde Mercury all kind of together. And new moons are very much about, new beginnings. And so a new moon in Pisces, again, about this fresh dream, about fresh hope, about trusting life. And the Mercury retrograde can be like a commitment to yourself, because Mercury is so much about what we say to ourselves. So committing to be kind to ourselves, committing to have compassion for ourselves, for other people, and somehow keeping yourself to that commitment. If it's a daily reminder thing, or you have a friend that you're doing that together about checking in with each other a few times a week about holding yourselves accountable for compassion, self-compassion, and other compassion. That can be a nice thing. Even something like Pisces represents deep breathing, and the cleansing capacity of breathing. Yoga and those kind of things can be Pisces. Gentle exercise. So committing to those sort of practices, even like getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, having a more pure diet, like having more plants, and not necessarily a plant-based diet, but just, if you have your steak, like have some vegetables as well. Those sorts of things, because vegetables have all the water in them and increases the water content. Pisces represents water, and sort of cleansing and releasing. So that would be part of that new moon. The other cool thing that's going to happen this month is Mars is going to move into Capricorn, and that happens right when Mercury turns retrograde on February 17. And Mars is the planet of action, and Capricorn is very much about plans and goals. So let's say you're doing your forgiveness work, unloading things from yourself, about other people. It's like this fresh vitality to say, what can my new goal be? And one of the good things about Capricorn, because Mars is like, do it, and then it can like lose steam. Capricorn is so, going up the mountain. So it helps Mars stay focused and stay motivated. So especially looking at what goals really make you excited that you could maintain that enthusiasm, a goal that you can see a result about. And again, not aiming too high so you get discouraged. So step by step, just doing little things every day. I've always wanted to read, War and Peace, and I'm going to read 5 pages a day, and then, wow, 2 years I finish it, or something like that. But, something where you feel like you're being kind to yourself and you're seeing the results. Or you are looking for a new job, and every day you do a little bit of job search so you don't get overwhelmed, but it's the consistency, kind of slow and steady wins the race. But also Mars, when it goes into Capricorn, will be trining, making a nice angle to the planet Uranus. And Uranus is almost like remember Chutes and Ladders, where, oh, I moved 2, oh, I'm on a ladder, then you go way higher. So you're making the small step, Mars and Capricorn, but Uranus is about unexpected blessings, or you moved forward, or you're just doing your little job at work every day, you're just doing the things, and someone notices how good of a worker you are, and you get this promotion. You're like, whoa, I thought I was going to work toward a promotion slowly but surely over 3 months, and then someone sees it when it happens. So that Mars and Uranus is a nice combination. It's very enthusiastic, and it can really help after the dark of winter. If you're in a place, I'm in Florida, so it's not so wintry, but it can really help just perk you up about new things and feel that you can change, and people can change, and circumstances can change. So it really helps having that Mercury retrograde happening, where it's like, wow, my forgiveness stuff is working, or I'm unloading my junk in my mind, or whatever. So the other thing, at the end of the month, we have Venus is going into Aries, which is also really enthusiastic and passionate and exciting, and so it's just open-hearted, and that's great for Valentine's Day, right? People feeling you're forgiving stuff, you're open to see things in a new way. Venus is so enthusiastic when it's in Aries. But at the end of the month, Venus and Pluto square each other, and Pluto can be, because Venus can be money as well, so Venus and Pluto could be looking at, issues of debt, or how you budget your money, making sure it's not too tight so you feel you don't get any fun. So it's like having that balance with the exuberance of spending, Venus in Aries, and that Pluto's in Capricorn, so keeping all the records. So you're blending fun with strategy, of sorts. And also if you're in relationship, it can be, because that Venus in Aries is so enthusiastic, pacing things well, not being afraid to get to a point in a relationship where differences appear. So you're able to say, I like that, I don't like that, and not feel like, oh, the magic is gone. It's okay to be an individual while we still have this passion, because Pluto can be kind of a fear of having conflict, and that it doesn't have to spoil a relationship to be different. It can enhance it, and it can just be okay that sometimes we're so blended, sometimes we're two individuals next to each other, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. So it can help sort of dissolve illusions around relationships. It can be romantic relationships, even if it was a friendship or family. It's like, it's okay to not always be the same or take a different angle on something, not have all our ideas the same. Doesn't mean the relationship is, we have to fight about it. So there's something about coming to peace with those sorts of things. And again, the spending stuff tends to be something that comes up for people too. Even eating, like if it's the winter and, Venus and Aries can also be like eyes bigger than your stomach kind of a thing, or just indulgence. And then the Pluto and Capricorn's like, oh, I'm paying for this. Or, when I eat, inflammatory foods, I have a tummy ache. And that you're not trapped in it. Saying, what am I doing that I know I kind of shouldn't be doing, that does cause a consequence, and being willing to release the consequence, like, overspending, overeating, that kind of thing too. So it's, and the fact that Mars is in Capricorn during that time, it helps you kind of keep accountability, but gentle accountability. And again, we talked about that Mercury and Pisces being just forgiving and letting yourself slip, and then supporting yourself anyway, and just saying, oh, that really wasn't a loving choice I made, in that situation. So that's all I guess I've got to say about this month. If you'd like to get a session with me, alunamichaels.com, or 248-583-1663 is my phone number for texting. I have my ebook on Amazon Kindle and on my website, which is The Spiritual Gifts of the 12 Astrological Signs. And you could get there from my website as well, alunamichaels.com. So have a great February, and I'll see you next month, and bye-bye for now.